E, unless you disconnected the drive, it should be drive E that is set up to record to.
Okay. I'll just,
To their terrible record of, failure to really make a dent in the opioid crisis, and the fact that the big drug manufacturers basically lobbied them and all but bought them off to get them to ignore the amounts that were being shipped to various places. I mean, I got to think a little bit more about what we want to say. The other thing I was thinking about, and I know you're all going to think I'm being panicky and alarmist. All of us, every single person who's going to be in this meeting, including myself, are going to have to think about what we're going to do in the aftermath of this coming election, because I got to be honest with you. I mean, for as many negative things as I could say about Joe Biden, I genuinely fear for my safety and civil liberties in a country that is once again run by Donald Trump.
You
And
are
I think it's
absolutely
worth
correct.
thinking about, like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? What kind of eyeballs are going to be on us? I don't want to cast a black cloud over this meeting, but I think it's something we all need to take to heart and think about what we're going to do, how we're going to handle things, because we don't know. We don't know what kind of plans. I mean, we do know what kind of plans the opposition has. I mean, Project 2025 is a public document, but that's exactly what worries me. These are people who tell you everything they're going to do before they do it. They telegraph their moves like Samuel Morse. So, just something to think about. That's all.
yeah, it's, well, hopefully he'll be in prison and he won't be able to run.
All right.
A lot nicer than what I would do to him. The fact that he's still running, and the fact that the people who orchestrated the coup attempt on January 6, 2021, that's proof that the fact that they're not in prison or already strung up from the nearest telephone pole is proof that we don't really give a shit about democracy in this country. I just wanted to get that off.
Right. Can I have a point of order? Just one thing so we can
Okay.
Move on. It's just patients are both right and left. And we're here to just try to get the laws changed for the patients. And if we start getting caught up down.
That's a good point, Mike. That's a very good point. As a 501c3.
Not that I don't agree with you where you're at, but
yeah,
we need to keep on business if we're going to get things done with this. And I appreciate the sentiment, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're working at the state level too, which I think it insulates us somewhat, but we don't know how much. What was that?
Chuck. Come to the meeting. We're at the CMMJ meeting right now. I can't talk. Okay. No. It's Zoom. Just go to our go to the Facebook page and find the meeting link, and there's a link right on it. Okay. Bye. Sorry. Let me disconnect my phone. Yes, and one other thing that I have to point out is that we cannot take part in any election as a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and we cannot endorse any candidates for election, and we cannot oppose any candidates. The only thing we can do is ask them for their position on medical cannabis or cannabis, and we can broadcast their position on cannabis, but we really have to stay out of elections entirely, Jared.
Well, I mean, we're not trying to influence an election. We're just discussing. We're not saying we're going to do this or support that or endorse this.
Yeah, but I mean,
No.
my comment already. I think I already crossed the line. With my comment, which would certainly give the impression, and the meeting is being recorded too.
Oh yeah, shit. I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
So yeah, we really can't talk about politics.
All right.
About elections.
Yeah,
so-
like I said, I'm not endorsing a candidate. I'm just simply expressing my concern.
Okay,
That's it.
okay. Thank you. So let's see, Jim Miller's here. Hi, Jim. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing real good. How is everybody else?
Good, good. We got some people here. Jen B, Jen is here. And Stacy Ann, if you want to unmute yourself and say hello, we'd love to hear from you. Or maybe later.
Good evening.
Hi, Stacy Ann.
Hi, I'm driving in my car, so I've got you on the speaker. I'm being a safe driver and just listening for right now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Anything particular, any area of interest you particularly have, is that Jen? Yeah,
Yeah,
Jen.
Jen. For me, it's always home grow. That's my number one issue. And I know that last meeting, I joined the last meeting for a little while, and I know that was the main topic. So, but
Okay.
I'm interested in everything.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming and watch where you're driving.
Yeah,
And
no, my eyes are definitely on the road. That's
Yeah,
why you
okay,
can't
good.
see me.
And we'll definitely be talking about home growth too.
Great.
All right. And Stacy Ann, did you want to say hello?
Yeah, hi, good evening. I'm not quite sure what the call is all going to entail, but hopefully it stays away from politics because that's not what I'm here about.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And we have a full agenda, and politics is not on the agenda for today.
Right, and you might be surprised at how many Republicans are actually very pro-cannabis. So I'll just say that.
Well, I know Nancy
Thank
Mason,
you very much.
but
Now,
that's it.
now
Like,
you're talking about politics,
I
about
know, I'm
talking
not
about
supposed to say.
politics, so let's not do
let's-
I'm not
that.
endorsing anybody.
Let's talk about
All
how
I'm
we're not
saying.
talking about it. Yeah.
All right,
come on.
let's go back to cannabis, please.
All
Can we
right.
talk about the rescheduling, or are we not talking about that?
We
either?
have no choice but to talk about rescheduling.
The
What does
elephant in
that
the room, my
That doesn't
friends.
have anything to do with politics. It has to do with government procedure.
No.
Nothing to do with politics at all. Okay, some people will say, "Oh, the only reason that's happening is," and they'll a political reason, and that is irrelevant as could possibly be. So it's not relevant, and I will stop that discussion anytime it starts. I'll be the sergeant at arms today, Ken.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Won't apply to myself. Yeah, I'm only kidding. No, I'm all about not talking about that, but yeah, the Schedule 3 thing is
Red herring.
yeah, it's certainly worth making a list of all the things it changes, because I keep coming up with a lot of new, like, what about when, and let's assume, I'm not gonna, well, is it really gonna happen? How long is it gonna take? I like to work with, it looks like it's absolutely gonna happen. It's gone too far to not happen. So that being the case, I like to be ready for when that moment actually happens, and it seems to me when that happens, New Jersey is going to disagree with the federal government scheduling if you compared how New Jersey has it scheduled in Schedule 1. So for all the time it's always been, Medicaid can't even consider paying for it because it's subsidized federally and it's a Schedule 1 drug. So therefore it's not even in the discussion. But it won't be in the discussion after it takes place federally, because of New Jersey's scheduling will then be in the way of that discussion until they, and I know we're going to approach them after the scheduling, but I don't know, it might be a good idea to warn them that it would behoove them to start thinking in terms of that, to do it as quickly as possible, because, well, they'll be the ones in the way of that discussion. And there's just so many other things. So I look forward to seeing what gets discussed that I haven't thought of, or anybody hasn't thought of yet. It's pretty exciting.
Well, New Jersey has a curious kind of scheduling of marijuana. Marijuana remains a Schedule 1 in the Controlled Substances Act, New Jersey's Controlled Substances Act, but medical cannabis has been descheduled completely. So, you know, the stuff that you buy in the, you know, anywhere in any of the 130 dispensaries in New Jersey is completely legal and completely descheduled.
So what would home grow for patients be? Would that be the Scheduled 3 or the Schedule 1 concern? It would be Schedule 3, wouldn't it?
Schedule 3.
Yeah,
I believe it would be descheduled.
yeah,
in
no,
New
no,
Jersey.
I'm
No.
saying, I'm
In New
saying,
Jersey, it would have to be, because if your choices are Schedule 1 or descheduled, then home grow would have to be descheduled. If it's if they pass a law.
Oh, home grow.
Schedule
Uh-huh.
3 is not going to give anybody homegrown.
No,
Okay.
that's not.
Not at all.
okay, I think you,
for-
I think we've all missed my question somehow and taken a slight
Oh.
turn.
Yeah.
What I'm asking is, will the plant that patients want to grow, is that going to be federal? I mean, New Jersey Schedule 1 or New Jersey has to deschedule it, or, but see, federally speaking, it's Schedule 3.
It will be Schedule 3.
It will be Schedule 3.
In
Right.
about not
No, not in a year or two.
maybe
No,
a year,
yeah,
probably a year.
yeah, well, I have, it's already taken 6 months to review that normal reviews take.
Yeah.
So
That's-
without
it's-
being political, the administration has every right to hurry them along because it has to do with health and sick
Right.
people. And, you know, at this point, that is owed to the people who have been on the shit end of the stick for all these years.
That's a good question, Jim.
So what I'm saying is, it seems to me, and now if I'm not mistaken, well, I'm not, I looked it up, and now what does that do with the difference between what we get to do for cannabis being Schedule 3 and psilocybin, which is Schedule 1 still, if I'm not mistaken? You know, so I mean, you know, the scheduling, not, I'm just saying that we can't be aware till we get down the road a little bit what is gonna be affected and what isn't, but it looks like federally, the Interstate Commerce Act will not be the sticking point anymore that it's been for 50 years.
Right.
Also, the Farm Bill, it seems like that may be affected. There's a lot of things that, you know, will become clearer, but we can get a pretty good grip on them now, and it's going to be somewhat of a list. I mean, the fact that PAAD right now pays for virtually everything they pay for is now federally considered less harmful than the drugs they willfully bestow on farm aged and disabled people in New Jersey. So, and what about the fact that cannabis Schedule 3 and opiates that are Schedule 2 that we don't want to prescribe, shouldn't we give patients the option to start with the one that's considered safer? Or at least, if you have to prescribe opiates, could we not somehow take part in an educational process of the synergistic effect between opiates and cannabis, which means if you are going to prescribe opiates, offering cannabis as an adjunct medicine from the beginning would keep that opiate use to a minimum. Isn't that what we're all about? Minimum opiate use? I mean, I see some interesting debate.
No opiate use.
Well, I'm just saying, but for the introduction of opiate, I mean, if somebody's never taken opiates and they already have had any cannabis experience, as an example, just an example, they would certainly likely be willing to use some cannabis and then take that opiate and then use a little bit of cannabis, and they will not need as much cannabis or opiate as either one taken individually.
Like
Right.
adjunct therapy, yeah.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
got a couple people with their hands up.
Yeah, sorry.
Scott Carter. Scott, you had your hand up?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everybody. Just real quick, I'm going to jump on my soapbox for 10 seconds. In my humble opinion, I think the Schedule 3 well, improved research will basically hand the big money, the big market to big pharma. And I was talking to Mike about it, Brennan, he said, yeah, and the cultivation will go to big tobacco. But that's my cynicism. I'm off the soapbox now. A question about the scheduling in the state. Wasn't the New Jersey State Controlled Substances Act, wasn't that like a follow-up or at the same time as the Federal Controlled Substances Act? And what was that, 70 or 71? And wouldn't a change in the federal act elicit a change in the state scheduling of cannabis too? Not for medical, because you're saying
The only time that would be directly relevant is if the state acts defines by reference to the federal law, which I don't think New Jersey does.
The cream,
Now I gotta pull it up to see
you
it with my
know,
own eyes.
descheduled cannabis. So under CREMA, under New Jersey state law, cannabis is descheduled.
Cannabis,
medical.
but not marijuana.
Oh, okay.
Marijuana is still a Schedule 1 in New Jersey.
And
Only the regulated cannabis that comes from the dispensaries is descheduled.
Right. And regarding regarding Jim's comment about offering people cannabis first, the lower scheduled thing, what is the AMA's position on the Schedule 3? And are they going to now embrace cannabis as a medicine on a par with Percodan and
They're gonna
Dilaudid
have,
and stuff?
they're gonna have to.
Eventually, they will have
Eventually,
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
no,
it-
I mean,
Think so.
eventually, like in a week or two, once they think about it, eventually.
No, I
No.
don't see what
No.
Jim's suggesting unless the AMA is on board. with it.
Well, no, they're going to be easy pickings, though. We don't have to take that crap anymore. It's Schedule 3. It is federally, the ones that we've listened to for a half a century, actually 52 years. Yeah, I'm agreeing with them. Perhaps for the first time in my life, I'm not only agreeing with them, I'm saying it's pretty much their opinion that matters, as it has been for 50 years. Now, they really don't like this, but the Food and Drug Administration seemed to finally get them to understand it's too late, and we're taking a split here because, it's going to work out better.
Actually, the AMA called for rescheduling in 2009. They said that marijuana should be rescheduled, but they never did anything about it, and it never was rescheduled in all these years. We got a couple more people with their hands up. Nick, I think you were first.
Yeah, just real quick, are we recording this meeting?
Yes,
Yes.
I answered you.
Okay, okay, cool.
And
Oh,
Jen B, you have your hand up?
Yes, wait, I can put my video. I stopped driving. So my question is, has anyone ever made a constitutional challenge to the scheduling based on the fact that it's a dam plant? Are we allowed to cultivate hemlock? Are we allowed to cultivate, there's like a poison garden somewhere?
Nightshade.
Yes. Actually, I suggested in 2010. I wrote a letter to the New Jersey Board of Pharmacy, and I wrote a letter to Tom Calcagni, who was the administrator of the Division of Consumer Affairs in the Attorney General's office, who, according to the New Jersey Controlled Substances Act, had the power to reschedule and deschedule and schedule other drugs. He was the one person in New Jersey who had the power to do that outside of the legislature, and he refused to do it. So anyway, so yes, we did present all those arguments that it made no sense to keep New Jersey as marijuana as Schedule 1 in New Jersey after we passed the medical marijuana law, because Schedule 1 drugs has no accepted medical uses, and here we were defining the medical uses for marijuana. So we tried that and it didn't work.
The federal level, there were efforts as well, in case you were referring
I
to
was
that.
wondering
Yeah,
about
there was.
Oh
Here's-
yeah, there were
here-
about at least 6 that I'm aware of.
Let
and
me
somebody said there were
explain.
more.
Their trick then was all of the procedure came without mandates for how long it should take. So they took at one point just under or over 2 years to answer somebody's legitimate, and Ken, you probably remember who that was.
Jim, the very first attempt to reschedule was made by Normal in 1972, and the federal government refused to hold hearings on that for was it 14 years? 14 years. They refused. They had to be taken to court 3 times before they would even hold hearings. And then in 1984, the hearings were held. They lasted for 2 years, and that was Judge Young's famous decision that marijuana should not be a Schedule I drug. It shouldn't be in the Controlled Substances Act at all. It should be descheduled for use in the United States. And that ruling by the DEA's own judge, was overturned by the DEA with no reason given. So anyway, that whole process took 16 years. So anyway, Lefty Grimes, you have your hand up.
I have a question. The Schedule 3, does that affect the legality of, say, possessing cannabis in a national park? It's illegal to possess cannabis in a national park. Does the rescheduling affect that at all?
I would assume so.
I think it's
Right,
still
'cause
illegal.
It's like having, it's a scheduled drug. It's a
It's
scheduled.
not going to affect legalization at all.
On
Well,
federal lands, it wouldn't matter because federal criminal law would apply. If you were charged federally, if you were issued any kind of federal citation by, say, like the U.S. Park Police, the National Park Police Force, or the Capitol Police, let's say, anybody, anybody controlling any kind of military installation or federal facility of any kind, federal courthouses, another good example. Like if the U.S. Marshals found you with a vape pen or a bag of cannabis in your pocket when you walked into federal court, you could, at least in theory, be charged with violation of the Federal Controlled Substances Act.
If
I
you
would
have it,
think.
no,
Wait, let me finish. I promise.
if you will,
On God, I promise I'm going somewhere with
if you
this.
will.
I promise. I don't know if having a medical cannabis prescription,
Right.
like let's say you were a medical cannabis patient and you were going into federal court to pay like a parking ticket on federal land or something. Like if you got caught in that situation and you were a medical cannabis patient,
Doesn't help
would
you.
the
Not on
prescription serve as
Yeah.
as an affirmative defense? And the
Jared-
answer is, I think that hasn't.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if that's been answered yet.
Well, Jared would be right. What you have Schedule 3 cardiac meds and other meds. You could travel with them. They're your meds. They're prescribed for you.
Yes,
they
but you
warn
need to have
Well, that's what I was
federal
wondering. I
property.
don't know if that proposition has been tested in
Why?
court
Why?
with respect
Well,
to cannabis.
why wouldn't it be if you could travel with your cardiac meds and your other meds if they're prescribed for you? It would make
I'll-
sense.
I'll-
Because they are prescribed. They are FDA approved.
And so does Schedule
Cannabis is not. yet.
3. Not yet, but what we're
Yeah,
saying.
And on federal
Yeah, see what I'm
property
talking about?
right
This is an
now,
open
they
question
warn you
right
as a
here.
patient.
That's what I'm
not
trying to
good.
say.
But that's where it is. That's where it's
All
going.
right.
That's
Yeah.
where it's going. It's going to Schedule 3 eventually.
Right.
Um,
And you
I offer to test that. I'll go to wherever a
God's sake.
federal park is somewhere.
Well,
Okay.
right now,
And,
you're
and
way
I'll,
ahead of
and I'll
yourself.
use my medicine, and if I get arrested,
No,
we
but
can
you-
find
Yeah,
out.
no,
hold on.
but you
Because
will.
we're not
you will
gonna
be.
figure it out. We're not gonna figure it out here.
Chris would be a good one to talk to about that. He just got pardoned for last time he.
No,
was
it's not.
before.
It's not. It's a physician's authorization right now, but eventually it'll be a prescription. Eventually,
Yeah,
that's where it's going. You got big pharma lobbyists. Where do you think all this is going to
When
wind
it
up,
can be
guys?
turned into a pill, you mean?
Say it
Or
again.
You're talking about it. You're not talking about flour.
No, I'm not. No,
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about a drug that the pharmaceutical companies have
Right.
multi-million-dollar lobbyists to lobby to get their lane carved out, and that's where I think it's
It's
going.
going to be a huge bonfire.
Follow the money, folks. Follow the
market.
money. Big-
Well, what Americans for Safe Access is recommending, and they're a great national group that started just about a year before we started. they're recommending that we take action during the public comment period that the
Right.
DEA is going to have. And
Right.
that we argue that rather than Schedule 3, which has all these problems associated with it, that
Deschedule.
we argue for descheduling marijuana entirely. Now, that's something that the DEA can do through the regulatory process. They can take comments and they can change the process. They can respond to those comments in such a way that they will change the original proposed rule. And the proposed rule now is that marijuana be moved to a Schedule 3, but they can either ignore that proposed rule and say, no, we're going to keep it as a Schedule 1 drug, or they could go the other way and they could deschedule it completely. So there's, I mean, this is a process that's going to be working out, and that it's going to take.
Descheduling solves most of the problems, most of the issues for most of the people, in my opinion, and that's where I think it should go. But I do think that Big Pharma has very powerful lobbyists, and they're going to carve out the pharmaceutical lane. I'll keep saying it. I think that's where it's going to go.
Steph Shearer did have a good write-up though about Schedule 3 and the expectation that it is a reality over the horizon, but also what we can do as patient advocates. And yeah, it does go right back to what Ken just said during the public comment. Before that, we write, we phone call, we advocate the shit out of descheduling, because that's again, just like legalization, that's the best way to help the most patients.
Agree.
What if they say, let's put Schedule 3 on hold so we can examine that? Are you willing to gamble that? Why can't we just make it Schedule 3 and then it would be easier to move from Schedule 3 to deschedule, I would think, than descheduling a Schedule 1 drug altogether, jumping past Schedule 4 even. That's just me. It just seems that I'm watching out for patients. I'll let adults take care of themselves on this one, but somebody has to watch out for patients. I'm making that my business. So as far as that goes, yeah, not 1 minute longer to discuss doing something different at all. That would be like against no one deserves to suffer
Jim,
needlessly. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Schedule 3 does put it into the hands of more patients per se, because but it'll be controlled through the physicians. I mean,
which is better for patients. And if Big Pharma does what Big Pharma does, it's still going to be good for patients, and they're going to have all the myriad of ways you can take a Schedule 3 drug without smoking it. They're going to have patches. They're going to have earmuffs that give it to you. That's what they're going to do. I get it, but I'm not going to waste 1 minute of my time worrying about that when patients are my only concern. I'm sorry.
There was a question in the chat that I'm answering now about what schedule, if any, did the AMA recommend moving cannabis to in 2009. They just said it should be scheduled. It should be studied. The issue should be studied, and it should be moved from Schedule 1. But they did not make a specific recommendation about what it should be moved into. So, and so much really is speculation about what form it's going to take, and we really won't know for months.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% on that. It definitely, rescheduling, the reason I brought it up, rescheduling absolutely changes the calculus of things. We just don't completely know how and why yet.
Right. And
I don't know. Lest anyone think I'm totally unfair. Yeah, this administration is, I understand why, I understand strategically why this administration is doing this now. I guess it's better than another year of inaction from Congress. I mean, if you want my honest, first impression of rescheduling when I first read about it, that would be it right there. I think that's a fair and unbiased, and as close to a fair and unbiased analysis as I could give anyone, is that it changes the calculus of possession and use of medical cannabis in federal territories, transport over state lines, issues of probable cause and criminal procedure that stem from that, and probably a ton of other stuff that I can't even think of off the top of my head. Carrying it on interstate travel in the form of bus, train, airplane, carrying it onto military installations. Yeah, these are all new questions that need to be answered now. Can someone who is an active duty person in the military get a prescription for medical cannabis now? Is that what this means? What about veterans? People are getting denied VA benefits for cannabis possession in some places anyway. What's this going to mean in terms of them? There's 100,000 hypotheticals I could come up with in my head as to what rescheduling is going to do vis-a-vis medical patients or people who would be eligible to be medical patients. Again, the strategic side of it, I understand why this administration is acting now. We all know how the steps of that dance, but I don't know if that's really going to move the needle either way.
Well, the needle is moving forward. It's moving forward
Yeah.
on a lot of things. You just had the Undersecretary of the VAs, Dr. Eleanor, at Horizons in New York talking about psychedelics in vets and moving that needle forward. So things are moving forward. You can't say they're not moving forward.
Right.
Maybe
Okay,
in the executive branch, yes. In Congress, not so much.
Oh yeah, Congress is shot.
I'm sorry. I'm not placing blame for that. It's absolutely a bipartisan issue, and frankly, I think you should be treated as one for once. I mean, it definitely would shift votes. I mean, this is a winning issue. This could potentially be a winning issue for either party if they would embrace it.
Right.
Make of that whatever you want.
Politics.
Make it a red
But I'm just
herring.
saying, as an unbiased analysis, that is what I think.
Also
All right.
politics. We're going to
Let's,
ban that now.
all right. Let's move on to some upcoming events because these are happening this week. Archer Health Fair is on Thursday from 10 to 2. Mike's going to that. Mike, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure, we've been going there now for a couple of years, and it's a nice afternoon. It's an indoor tabling event. We get a lot of people come up, have questions, and if anybody's local, Jim, Peter, come on, stop by. It's 10 to 2. So Scott's there with me to help set up. Andy said he'd probably show up to try to help set up too, which will be about 9:30.
Great. And that's at 1025 Laurel Oak Road, Voorhees, New Jersey, from 10 to 2 on Thursday, this coming Thursday.
Right on the corner of the old American Water headquarters. You can't miss. It's a giant, huge globe water fountain. It's pretty big. It stands out.
Good. All right. So you're covered for that. Pennington Day coming up. That's
Can I just ask what's the purpose of the health fair at Archer and Griner?
What's the purpose? Information about, they want medical marijuana information for one thing to educate the people who work there. And I guess they also give other, whoever else shows up, they also give information about various aspects of health.
Yeah, there's other vendors that are there, from chiropractic checkups to massage therapists. It's a broad thing. They're a health fair,
Yes.
but it's pretty much an in-house thing that they have for everyone in the office building. Set up in the atrium.
I'll be in Philly.
Okay.
I'll be in Philly Thursday on the MCBA tour for MCBA. So that's coming up this Thursday.
Okay.
But Archer Griner is very helpful in creating policy for the legalization of medical here in New Jersey. how are they helping with moving the current bills, proposed bills, moving those forward? Or will we have those proposed bills on the table and engage in discussion? Are we talking
Yes,
to?
that's typically what we do at these at all these events. Is
Exactly what
we
we
have,
do.
you know, our literature that talks about our ongoing goals, the insurance bills, the home cultivation bills, the hospital and institutional access, encouraging descheduling of cannabis on a federal level. Those are the kind of things that we talk about at these health fairs. And at Pennington Day, we're going to have a table at Pennington Day also on Saturday, the 18th, from 10 to 4. That's always there's a they close down the whole town, and we have a table there, and we do the same thing, Michelle. In addition to raising some funds, you know, selling T-shirts and collecting donations. So
Okay.
June
I
1st, first town day. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question regarding our strategy for policy and moving the bills forward. Are we planning to meet with any of the legislators, the sponsors and co-sponsors of the bills?
I'm not aware of any meetings that are set up. No.
I've reached out personally to Troy Singleton. And
I'm in
I have
touch
Bill
with
Conaway. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm in touch with the Assemblywoman Reynolds Jackson's office, and just kind of keeping track. What they've said in the past, and I would assume stays the same. What they'd like us to do specifically is steer legislators to talk to them about co-sponsoring these bills, that we as residents of New Jersey each, of course, have 2 assembly representatives and 1 senator, and we need to be in touch with them. And in my opinion, the impending Schedule 3 makes that easier to even talk about than ever before.
Yes.
You know, so like basically, I would think that it would behoove us to have something that they could copy and paste in an email to their legislators, and with whatever other comment they want to make, much like a sign-on letter, except for they email it. Therefore, there's an email trail. That email will be answered, and that trail will grow longer. It'll be ignored. They'll get another one, and that trail will grow longer. They can be put up on a public website, because that's a one-way street when it comes to privileged information. We get to say whatever we want. I could take anything that any legislator ever sent me and put that on a billboard. They can't say boo about what I said to them. So I think we could use that.
Well, I propose that we schedule time with the sponsors of these bills to have a hearing with the insurance committee, especially in the light of rescheduling, and really start to get some traction, because they had to be refiled in December 23. So, you know, it was the coalition that really lit the fire for legalization. So now let's take it to the next level and utilize our legislators that do have these proposed bills. We're agreeing with them, but let's push these bills forward.
Ken would remember the number of the bill. I don't know the number of the bill that would have PAAD and senior gold that passed out of committee 2 years ago without dissent, and has not been heard yet this year. It was heard in March 2 years ago. So there's some sort of, I don't know what the hold could possibly be, but Schedule 3 makes that.
Federally.
Schedule 3 makes that
work. I was Senator Sarlo's committee. Anybody has any connections or is a constituent?
Or a telephone directly. A telephone to call his office. You know, his constituents is the great idea. I mean, I love that, but you know me, I've always loved that. That's the way to go through constituents.
Posted copies of letters that I've sent to the local legislator, also even to Andy Kim's office, on the board chat over the week as I sent those off. And I posted a link on there. I'm pretty sure if you want to check on that, pass it on.
What I would suggest is to invite some of the legislators to our New Jersey Cannabis Town Hall. And that's what the purpose of it is, to invite legislators in, to invite the public administrators in. So back last year, Benji Wimberly, right?
Yeah.
He actually attended our event and had conversation with us. So inviting them in, utilizing
They've been
those who
invited in.
are
Yes, they've been invited. It's not like we haven't tried. You might start with that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
just saying that we have, they're
Oh.
very notorious for being reluctant to go on a Zoom meeting because there may be a record of what they say. It's like trying to record a conversation with them if you have a meeting with them. You know, it's not that easy. If one or two-
Wait, let's back up a bit. First of all, you mentioned the New Jersey Cannabis Town Hall. So not everybody here might not be familiar with the New Jersey Cannabis Town Hall. That is an activity that we are currently planning for June 22nd, 24th at Raritan Valley Community College. It's going to include an expungement clinic, cannabis career fair, and a panel discussion, and panel discussions, I guess. So it's from noon to 5, you know, a good 5-hour event that we're planning. And I think inviting legislators is certainly you know, a wonderful
Great
idea
idea.
to that. And we can certainly do that. We have a couple of people on the committee right now. Sarah here is working on this, and some other people, I think. Let's see, Sarah,
Yeah.
you're scheduling a call, right?
We have a call scheduled for this coming Friday at noon, a planning phone call.
Planning phone call at noon on Friday. Okay, so anyway, but that's basically the kind of things that we're talking about, and we're talking about also the possibility of inviting other legislators to a series of legislators, any legislator who wants to come.
There's a
Yes.
couple of bills pending right now, one regarding price cap specifically, and you know, those I'm not sure of the sponsors of those bills, but we could surely reach out and invite them. I think there's a couple of bills pending that are specific to this group's interests, and we should invite them.
Right. I haven't seen the price cap bill yet. Actually, a reporter called me up when I was somewhere.
I have it. I can circulate. I don't think it's like secret. I think I can send it to you. Let me see if I can find it. Okay.
Yeah, if you could put it in the chat, that'd be great. Then we could, everybody would know, because I haven't seen it yet. So anyway, did you have an opinion about that bill, Sarah? Is that a good bill? Is it a workable bill? Is it something that's going to help patients? They're talking about stopping, putting a cap on the price of medical cannabis in New Jersey, right?
I think it has potential. I think the prices have been decreasing and will continue to decrease as more cultivators come online. But yeah, I think it has some potential. I've had a couple discussions with Don Parisi from Benebis Health. I know Nichelle is familiar with Don, to try and educate myself a little bit more on what that means. But yeah, I do think it has some potential.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you.
Yeah, and inviting the sponsors.
And Nichelle, you're breaking up.
breaking up,
Michelle.
Those who propose the bills for, it's better if I turn my video off? Can you hear me?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
sorry about that. Yes, inviting the sponsors and the co-sponsors of the proposed bills for reimbursement from insurance, for Medicaid, Medicare, just so we're playing chess with the conversation of rescheduling, and we hope it's going to happen this year. We expect it to. So what does that look like in getting these hearings scheduled so we can move these bills forward, and doing that sooner rather than later. So it would be my goal to invite some of those legislators to the New Jersey Cannabis Town Hall, have those open discussions, and then get hearings scheduled in front of those committees. The insurance committee, the health committee,
Sure.
etc.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And we're giving him enough lead time now. It's over a month away. So that and June is usually a quiet time in the legislature anyway. June 22nd, that's about ready for their summer break, if I remember correctly. So that's
Yeah,
It's out there.
and the budget season would be coming to an end around that time.
Mhm.
We can check their availability.
Right.
Just an FYI, I posted a link to ASA's write-up they put on rescheduling, if anyone's interested. It's in the chat.
Yeah. Nick, you've got your hand raised?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the topic we talked about this afternoon regarding having someone possibly sponsor CMMNJ's stay in Atlantic City this upcoming September, the hotel room in particular. And I just wanted to start maybe throwing around some ideas about who to ask for sponsorship.
Last year,
Mhm.
it was oh my God, I just blanked out on her name. But yeah, we had 2 rooms sponsored for us.
Oh,
So-
Felicia, did she?
Felicia's sister. That's why I was trying to remember Felicia's sister's name. I'm sorry, but yeah, well, Felicia set it up to her sister. They had a couple of timeshares set up for us to rent. It's really a nice place.
Mhm.
I'm planning on being there the entire weekend. So I would arrive Friday night, and then leave Sunday afternoon sometime.
You can stay right there at the Marriott, although that's the most expensive way to stay.
Right.
But it's right there. You just gotta walk down the elevator and out into the convention center.
So you want to look into possible prices at different hotels in Atlantic City, see what we're looking at, Nick, in case we don't.
I can do that investigation, you bet.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, we've been invited back to NECAN. Mike said he's going to be a speaker at NECAN, right? Or you applied to be at any rate?
Working on the application as we speak.
Okay, great. And we'll have our usual table, and yeah, we pretty sure we lost money at the last NECAN because there were a lot of expenses associated with it, and we did raise some money, but it didn't really cover the expenses that we incurred having a couple rooms down there in Atlantic City, so.
Find that, yeah, but the rooms last year were only, I think, $112. The year before that, that's when I went through the NECAN website for ordering, and it looked like we had a great deal on the rooms, but here that was for the first night. The next night is when we paid the full rate.
Oh, right.
That was the year that we lost money.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I was disappointed because before that we actually made we did pretty good. A couple years before that, this would be our 5th year there, 5th or 6th. So
Okay. All right. Anything more about NECAN? That's coming up in September. And we'll keep on top of that. like I said, Pennington Day is coming up on Saturday, May the 18th from 10 to 4. We're going to have a table there. Anybody available to help out? That'd be great. The annual LGBTQ plus Pride Festival in Asbury Park is going to be June the 2nd. And that check-in is at 6 to 10:30 a.m. and that goes on till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, and Mike, you're going to do
Yeah.
Morristown Day.
Day before that, we have June 1st, and Morristown Day on Main Street in Morristown. Street
Morristown
fair.
Day.
South Jersey. This is South Jersey, Morristown, just for everyone's.
Yeah.
Yes, Morristown, the proper, since 1643.
The home of Senator Singleton, who wrote the Patient Home Grow Bill. And also the home of Assemblyman Conaway, who yanked Home Grow out of 2009's original bill. It's quite a town.
As well as my hometown as well.
Speaking of Conaway, I've been in contact with him about a different bill, A944, which would give full practice authority to advanced practice nurses. I think that this would help to reduce costs in there are a lot of arguments for it at any rate, and it would also make more people available to recommend medical marijuana in New Jersey if that bill passes. So
I thought he
anyway.
was giving you a hard time about that, Ken.
I'm sorry?
I thought he was giving you a hard time about the.
He is, yes. So what I did, what he said he would never let that come to a hearing in his committee.
Right.
He's a chairman of the Senate of the Assembly Health Committee. And the Senate version of that bill passed unanimously out of the Senate Health Committee about 2 years ago. And it has like 27 sponsors, but Conaway won't bring it up for a committee. So he's really sitting on this bill really to protect the power and the profits of physicians. So
Right.
so anyway, so what I did was I just wrote an email to Craig Coughlin, the Assembly Speaker, to see if we can't get that bill moved to a different committee so that we don't have one person holding up this this important bill that could really improve healthcare in the state of New Jersey. So at any rate, if I don't hear, I just sent that off on Friday. If I don't hear from Assemblyman Coughlin by next Friday, I plan to send it out to all the 27 sponsors of the bill and possibly to all the members of the bill, all the members of the legislature to try to encourage them to get this bill moved to a different committee so that it can come up for a hearing. Oh, let's see.
So who do we believe are the most important legislators to invite to the town hall? Is
Jim
it Troy
Miller?
and Herb Conaway, Reynolds Jackson?
Well, you know, we've already got the support of, I worked on Senator Shirley Turner, my senator, and she was very much opposed to cannabis reform. But, you know, after a series of letters and arguments with her over the course of about a year, she came around to now she's one of the sponsors of one of the home cultivation bills.
So that's
So-
exactly who we would want in the room to talk to the other legislators about how she.
I'd be happy to invite Senator Turner.
Right,
sure.
but that would be very, I think, very important, so she can talk to another legislator about how she made her switch.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So probably all of the sponsors of the insurance and home cultivation bills I would
Yeah.
probably be a good start to invite to our cannabis town hall at Raritan Valley Community College on June 22nd.
Would you like to spearhead that, Ken? Or is work on together?
Would that be an official letter coming from coalition or individuals? How do we work that, Ken?
No, it would definitely come from the coalition because we're putting on the town
Okay,
hall,
so
essentially.
so then, yeah, you should send it, right?
Okay, if there's anybody wants to suggest language that should go into it, I'd be happy to entertain that.
I think I heard Michelle say she could do that.
We would insert, cut and paste that bill that we want to speak about and what the purpose of the town hall is. And
Right.
where
Okay, all right. Well, we can work on that after the meeting too. Lefty, you've got your hand up.
Oh yeah, Ken. Next Thursday, Hot Box for Home Grow at the New Jersey State House, and they're probably going to go in and lobby some legislators.
Next Thursday, we're talking the 23rd of May.
Yes.
You're having another event at the State House on the 23rd.
Yes, we're there every month. This month is the 23rd.
Hot Box for Home Grow. And you're going to be there at 11 to 2 or something?
11:11 to 2:22.
Okay, that wasn't on my calendar, so thank you for that, Lefty.
Thank you.
And also, Lefty starting to plan for the 3rd annual National Cannabis Patients Awareness Day in July 10th, 2024.
Yes, that'll be a big one. We're trying to get as many state houses across the country to take part this year.
Yeah, I think it was very successful last year. So,
Yeah, we're forgetting about our patients. I just realized that a lot of dispensaries are opening up without wheelchair accessibility, and now we have to go back and find out which ones and how we can help them get wheelchair access, because they are following the ADA, but the ADA allows businesses to grandfather themselves in if they're old. And the CRC, I believe, has some control over that. So we're going to try to work with them to fix that issue. Toot sweet. That means really fast.
So,
bar outside Madison Square Garden.
and you say so the legislature is going to be in session that day, Lefty, on the 23rd?
Yes, they are actually.
Okay, good.
Mondays and Thursdays are good days for Trenton.
Mhm. All right, so no shortage of things to do around here. All right, what else?
If we're talking about home
10:45
grow,
today. Happy
Yeah,
birthday to
Abby,
me.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
no worries. So I finished up the survey and had the home grow coalition take a look at it. I can post a link to the survey in the chat. I've been talking to Gitano a little bit about how we can get this out to people. And one of the sticklers is just trying to fill in the contact information for all of the licensed operators. So I was wondering if we could split up the list of annual license holders amongst the group, and then everybody figures out the contact information. I think we can start going through LinkedIn or other social media places to get the contact information, because we want to have the survey representative of at least ideally 75% of licensed operators. I will put the link to the site. Just recently set up here's the link to all the annual license holders. And it's separated by medical and adult use. And then the survey, for those who want to take a look at it, is and the survey is here. We'd like to use the results from the survey to inform the lobbying efforts on to the legislators. We might also use some of the results in a in news articles or social media posts, depending on whether or not people allow us to. There's an option for operators to remain anonymous. I will share the results of the survey, obviously, with or people who will, CMMNJ will have access to the results of the survey. I think we'll probably limit it to just a couple of people who have access to editing the survey, because you can delete the responses. So yeah, how do people feel about pitching in to try to get all the contact information?
Well, but you have the websites. The contact information should be right on the website, no?
Possibly, but it still needs to be. There's over 100, so it still needs to be put into a.
Be collated and organized.
Yeah.
And reach.
Okay, so
Actually
what
contact
exactly?
these
That's
120-some people.
Yeah, there's 120 some people. There's actually closer to 150 people, 150 groups.
Well, all right.
Well, I see Sarah Trent is on here from Valley Wellness, so we can put
There's one.
or at least she was. I don't see her. Oh, I see her off camera. So like we can, it would just be a huge help if people could.
Abigail, is it on a shared drive? Because if it's on a shared drive, then anyone can just kind of contribute as they find things. No, I forgot.
I just put it on a shared drive, and right now anybody who clicked on the link can edit it. If you send me an email or if you request access to it, I can add you directly so that you can it would be found in your Google Drive under shared with me. Because once this Zoom is over, you won't have access to that link anymore.
Well, maybe we should just automatically add everyone anyway, and then whoever can go in there and contribute, just go in and take a couple minutes and contribute. No?
Sure. Guy, could you add?
Okay, Ken has the full list of everyone who's here. Can you share those, Ken, with Abigail, the emails of everyone here if they want to help, and she'll add them, and then you can just go into your Google Docs and start filling in things.
Actually, no, I don't
Excuse
have
me.
I don't have.
Abby,
Yeah.
I just clicked on the link, and yeah, I'd be glad to help contact these people and find information. Maybe we can get together later after the meeting or later in the week.
Make sure we
tomorrow I
don't double efforts or anything, split it up in an.
Yeah, but
effective way.
if it's on a Google
Yeah.
shared drive, there won't be, because if someone fills something
Right,
in.
that. Yes, absolutely, you're right.
Right, that's the whole idea behind the shared drive.
Right.
And then I will also write a couple of sentences that can be copied and pasted. I'm happy to send out the email, but if I also don't have a known entity, but I can write okay, I've got Jared's email. I can write a little blurb for people to copy and paste to email people. There's a couple ways that we can go about contacting folks. As you can see, there's the name, position, email, the home grow contact. So be, one of us, and then date contacted and whether or not the survey was completed. Or if they said, yes, I'll complete it. We can mark it there because they might stay anonymous. And then on the back end, we're going to be double checking email addresses and license numbers, which is one of the first two questions of the survey, just in case people want to make up funny answers for like Curaleaf and Boris's responses. So hopefully, it should be pretty clear cut with people supporting this, because it's New Jersey Cannabis Association and the Trade Association have both backed home grow. So this is also a way of knowing who is not going with the business associations.
And Abigail, how long do you want this to hang out there? Do people work on a week, 2 weeks? Like, give us a timeline of when we should close this down and then move to the next step.
Could we have until the 24th?
I think that's good. So end of business by the 24th. We'll just try and bang this out and then move to the next step.
And the next step would be sending a blank carpet email out, or
Right.
big email out to everybody.
Okay.
If it is on behalf of CMM, or since it is hosted by CMMNJ, it'll be great, Ken, if we could give you the text to individually email these people, but I also want it to be as easy as possible for you.
If what now, Abby? I'm sorry.
If we could,
Wait, first we're trying to get email contacts. So I
Yeah.
see, I thought you had, when I looked at that, I thought all those links were to email contacts, but they're not to email contacts. They're to certificates of from the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. So you've only got about a dozen email contacts out of all those people.
yes.
So, okay, so that's a problem.
Why
We're
you're
gonna
asking
need
for
like 120 more.
Well, can you send this, can you send a notice to Todd Johnson, the executive director of the CTA? And start the conversation with him, the purpose of the survey, this is the survey.
Who's,
Todd Johnson.
I'm not familiar with him.
He's the executive director of the Cannabis Trade Association. And Sarah can probably speak more to this because she's part of that trade association as a dispensary owner. But he certainly has access to the full list, and they can include it in one of their upcoming meetings
Right.
to discuss it, so they're all aware and they're not being caught off guard.
They have monthly meetings, I think.
Is Sarah there?
Sarah, are you still here?
Sarah, when's your next meeting?
She may have stepped away.
Yeah.
It's bedtime for her daughters, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I can reach out to
NJCTA.
Sarah about that. I can also, I'm a member of the NJCBA and on the laboratory testing committee. So I can reach out to Scott about that, about circulating the email through him.
Yep, he's a good resource as well.
And
But the CTA is just more direct.
yeah,
Well, that's what you were talking about, Abby, right? The CTA?
the CTA would be great. I'm not a part of the CTA. I'm part of
Okay.
NJCBA,
Oh, CBA. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, the laboratory testing committee there.
Mhm.
The testing labs, I don't think are particularly critical in this discussion. We could, but we could still survey the testing labs. But I know that there's some testing labs that won't go on record about home grow because they don't want to alienate some of their clients. But then there's also Kristen from Trichome, who is one of the front runners or the leaders of the home grow network.
Amen.
I think that the contact information should also be pretty, it should probably take less than 5 minutes per entity in order to find some sort of contact in a email for a organization. It's just whether or not it's going to bubble to the top.
You want a
their-
specific contact person, or are you talking about a general info at?
Well, info at is probably not going to be read by
Mhm.
the CEO, and whether or not that person who's responding to info at has the authority to say whether or not they are their company as a whole stands for home grow.
Thank you. I was being rhetorical. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abby, if we can't get the email address any other way, is it okay if we try to make a phone call and try to get it that way?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Because that would also bring it, like, it gives you an opportunity to talk to at least the bud tender, whoever's answering the phone.
Right. They're not going
and
to give
to
me the boss's email, but maybe they can put me in touch with the
Yeah.
person who could do that. Yeah.
And they might give the boss's email,
Sure.
because like it's not like they're posting it on.
Yeah, but
It probably depends on the size of the
honestly-
operation. So yeah.
honest, the best
Jordan
way
at
is
Gmail?
through Todd Johnson, the Cannabis Trade Association. Each of the dispensaries are a member of, and they attend these monthly meetings. This way, you're giving them a heads up that the survey is coming. You get permission to get their email, and then you send it to them directly.
Or Todd can just mention it at a meeting. Everyone's there, from what I understand how those meetings
Yeah.
are. Yes,
Just-
Sarah.
May I-
So NJCTA has multiple meetings a week, really. We have, different subcommittee meetings. But yeah, I would suggest connecting with Todd and going that route.
Do you have Todd's email that you could share with me,
Absolutely.
or put in the?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, great, thank you.
And who's reaching out to Todd?
I can.
Yeah, Abigail,
What is I'm sorry, I did step away for a minute with my children. If you guys can tell me what the ask is, I'd be happy to take it back to the NJCTA as well.
there you go.
So the ask is for the Home Grow Coalition that we're trying to get the Home Grow access. There's a survey that we put together that's linked above in the chat to query licensed operators such as yourself as to whether or not you'd be in support of home grow legalization, medical home grow. The objective is to see whether there is any opposition to home grow, how strong that opposition is amongst the licensed operators, because those are the ones who might put up a fight. We want to talk to legislators and say, here are all the operators who are out there who are in support of home grow. The patients are in support of home grow. Everybody's in support of it. Why are you not bringing this to a vote or even to discussion?
So a couple of things. My sense of it is, and I just scrolled the survey, I don't know, at least as it pertains to the MSOs, like, I don't know who's going to fill that out in terms of like who actually from their organization would fill it out. So I question, how accurate the information would be, because like operators like myself, other smaller operators would, and so that's my concern with, one of my concerns with the survey. The other one is how the information might be used. And so if you share like who exactly is on the other side of this survey, and if the results are like anonymized, etc., you might get more real responses. So just a couple of thoughts that I have about the survey. I am more than happy to bring this. We have a policy call tomorrow, actually. So I'd be more than happy to discuss this with the group and then circle back to you all.
Okay, great. So at the top of the survey link, for additional questions, we have info@CMMNJ, and state that the survey is sponsored by the Coalition for Medical Marijuana. We also say that if you would like your responses to be kept anonymous, you can answer the third question to be anonymous. And it's just then a matter of trust, whether or not you trust CMMNJ or not. I agree with you on who in the MSOs would actually be able to fill it out. We may not get the MSOs on record on this. They are likely the people holding up. If there's any operators who are holding this up, it is most likely the MSOs or the ATCs. But if we can demonstrate that all of the New Jersey-based operators are in support of home grow, then that would strengthen the argument that the New Jersey market is ready for home cultivation.
It's not any of the operators that have been in the way of the hearing happening. They haven't.
It's Qatari.
No, you're right. They haven't needed to step up, and I appreciate what you're doing because they may decide to step up, and we should certainly be prepared for that. But right now, it's being held up without, and it's all about the hearing now. It's about the next step. The step after that doesn't matter. What we say to them doesn't matter if we don't get to say it to them. So, and it's also when we talk about it, I really appreciate that. Always like rooting for you to finally get around to saying it's about medical, about patient home grow, because all too often when anybody talks about home grow, it just gets called home grow for a while. And I think a lot of people get confused. It's called muddying the waters, and we do it ourselves. And you did great, man. You passed the gym test. You mentioned it, and that is what it's about. Because that is the first step. And if all adults were real smart, they'd realize that patients are the key. They're the ones that are going to open the door. And yes, it will open door because like the same arguments will apply to adult home grow, 75%. The same concerns will be about 75%. So then we can start getting people on record once we get a hearing. But it might be surprised at the I think the people that have money to lose, perhaps, that might be against it in their minds have money to lose. I think they're way more worried about the adult market having home grow than patients because they lost their slice of the pie with the state with income tax. Income tax, the sales tax. And, there's really not much of a pie for them to get a slice of. And not that many patients are going to have it once they understand what, 10,000, 15,000, not everybody. And they're still going to have to go get things that they are not capable of growing. Maybe they just want some to make into edibles or something. Who knows? But yeah.
It's going to take several months to grow a plant, and then you have to harvest it and dry it and cure it. I still buy tomatoes during the summertime.
Yeah.
And there's businesses that are going to make money too. You need supplies.
Yeah.
You grow things out of thin air.
So you can have supplies and cultivators could have clones and seeds.
Right. They can have more than clones. What they can have is ready-made service to help once you set it up, to help you get it set up and be able to FaceTime with you anytime you have a question, to be there. It's in their best business interest to be able to do that. That's their best marketing tool. And to have somebody like me or anybody else actually say, you can trust them is going to mean something to them. So we actually have a degree of control over that service by our, and I can say, I'm not saying CMMNJ, but I'm saying as an individual, we can always help make sure patients get to somebody that does have their interests. And, there's a couple, like besides it right now, Green Dragon and Sugar Hydro come to the top of my head. There's more. I'm not going to, because I'm using my adult right to consume cannabis as we have this meeting, so I'm not going to speak out of my.
So Sarah, you can present this tomorrow, then circle back to Abigail and I when?
Next week. I will say in general, the NJCTA, I think it was, 6 months ago, and they have come out in support of medical home grow.
So let's collect those data.
Well, we have
I
that
say this
data
kind of, like,
already.
sarcastically, like, good luck. The MSOs are, I just like, I hate to say it, like, you're gonna get who at Columbia care to fill that out?
No,
I just like, it's not gonna happen. And so I just like, I'm sorry.
But I don't think that that's necessarily, it doesn't
That's
necessarily
that-
kill the results.
that-
If we have 80% of the New Jersey,
Other
Operators?
operator, there's nobody else that belongs to the NJCTA. I'm one of like 3 standalone operators.
oh,
that is-
really?
Yeah, they haven't gotten half the membership that they, I mean, anyways, so generally speaking, the NJCTA is comprised of the 2010 and 2018 operators, plus myself, Suzanne Nicholson, Hillview Medical, David Little from Inclusion Gourmet, who's a standalone manufacturer, and Noir Dispensary in Maplewood, and maybe one other dispensary.
And,
So
and, you know,
it's very small.
and you know, that says something too politically when you have all the rest, and you could call out the not 0 MSOs participated in our survey. I mean, that could be twisted too, right? That says something, no?
But
Well,
if
I
the-
would be very careful if the NJCTA
Yeah.
is coming out in support of medical home grow, and then you're gonna turn around on their members and.
You don't want to cut your nose off to
that's a
spite
good
your
route to go.
face.
All right.
I think we could have the,
I'm just saying, and I also, I mean, I will express like, you know, I don't, and then, you know, Abigail, you said like, be on the record. Like, that is like, I don't know what I understand the purpose. I question to some degree the value. When the NJCTA as an organization has come out in support of medical home grow, seems to me like that would be a stronger route to go with legislators rather than using a survey that 5 people have filled out and having them on the record. It honestly made me a little nervous when you said that like that. So that's just my feedback.
Is that captured somewhere officially, Sarah, where there came out? I don't remember that. Was that like
Yeah, I think it's in the, and I mean, talk to Todd Johnson. I think, you know, he would, but yeah.
No, I saw.
I
it
can't
somewhere.
answer that, but yes, I believe that they did come out officially as that.
Yeah, it was a formal announcement at one point that they supported home grow. I remember seeing that
I
sometime.
remember seeing that as well. Can we spin the survey to look at who's in support rather than looking for opposition? I mean, anybody who's opposition probably wouldn't even respond to it in the first place, to your respect. But how many people are in support of? Let's rally around the flag.
so the first survey version was looking more at the support. Ed, not to call you out on this, but you want to identify who was against it. So I reframed the questions so that they were against it. There's who's the opposition. I can see it. I don't have a huge dog in this fight with the survey. I said that I would make the survey into a Google form and fill it out. And then it's become like a larger entity. I agree with what you guys are saying, that with the NJCTA coming out and the NJCBA coming out in support of home grow, that stands very large, I think. And if individual members are not going along with that, then we don't necessarily need to, the people who are against it may also choose to be anonymous. And so we can't call them out on that. If we don't think that this is a worthwhile exercise, I'm also happy canning it now before we put in collectively several hours of effort to find all the contact information and contact people. Because a survey with 10 to 20% of respondents isn't worth anything. And so I'm really happy to cut my losses now. Yeah, so what, Mike?
Valid question, just what Sarah brought up with, um, the membership campaign at CTA is how successful, you know. I mean, earlier it seemed like, oh, we'll go there and we'll get access to
Get everything in.
everyone,
Yeah, and that's,
and
we're only gonna get 15 to
do we have
30.
half?
Yeah.
Do we have
I have a suggestion
5%?
for the multi-state
I'm not saying
operators.
that some of the other, you know, members wouldn't reply. I don't know. That's just my feeling because there's bureaucracy. You're not, to some degree. But some of them, some may reply. You know, it could very well be. So I don't want to be so negative about that. I will bring it to the group tomorrow and see.
Regarding
Okay.
the multi-state operators, just a suggestion, if according to my business development experience, if we reached into an organization that size, they probably would try to push us to public relations or communications or something like that. Might be where we want to start, you know. At least you get it answered, even if it's not the president or the CEO of the company doing it. Just an idea. We might want to see who those people are. If anybody has like Dun and Bradstreet or Hoover or Zoom or any of those info services, they might have you know, some of the corporate officers listed.
Ken, what's your feeling on this? If we have, let's say, everything stars align, we get 75% of the respondents respond, and let's say 2/3 of them, 3/4 of them agree that home grow is great. Does that give much strength, any additional strength to the fact that the NJCTA and the NJCBA have both signed on to home grow? Does it show that it's actually not unanimous within the business and trade associations?
Hmm.
And what if we find the opposite?
That everybody's opposed? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we find the opposite, that everybody's opposed, then we don't bring this up to legislators.
Right, exactly.
I mean, this is not a scientific study. We are not funded for this.
Right.
We don't have a grant to.
We can
We don't have a
certainly-
duty to report, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
we have no
Jim,
duty to
so-
report.
I don't think you're going to get anywhere close to 75% return. You know, I mean, surveys really, I'm thinking more like 20-30%. And then, you know, and they made, you know, like Sarah said, there's a bureaucracy. They pass it around. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know who wants to do it. You know, it asks a lot of questions, and you know, they may be reluctant to answer it, to find who's going to answer it, or other people just say they should know it, and we're not going to answer it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
to me, you know, surveys to get a really high response for a survey is pretty unusual, I think, you know, in terms of the surveys that I've seen. Anyway, I think you're going to get a low response rate, but you know, I mean, it could be good. You know, you know, that's why I supported the survey. I thought it was a good idea to have this survey, to have people go on record. You know, these people who are you know, important players in the game to say, look, it's not going to hurt us to home grow, and which we already believe is the case. And we would have documentation of that from you know, people who are selling it legally. So anyway, I think it's a good idea. I still think it's a good idea. You know, but I mean, I could be overruled by that. I mean, we could bring it up as a board discussion and see, get more information. But you know, I mean, I thought the board was pretty supportive of the entire process. You know, we had some input on how we wanted the survey to look and all, and you know, we wanted to go ahead with it. You know, Sarah's input is important. But Ed, you've got Ed Hahnemann's got his hand raised, and Ed, what are your thoughts on the matter?
Well, first, I mean, can we ask somebody like I think has familiarity, what percentage return should we decide to take any action on? I mean, you're right, if 20% of the people respond, is that enough to say, and let's say all 20% say, we have no opposition whatsoever, we're fine with it. We could say 100% of the respondents who responded said that this is great, not
Thank
hurting
God this
them.
isn't science,
Yeah.
Ed, yeah.
Right. Or guide, or do we say,
He's on mute.
Ed, I think you muted
I just
yourself.
muted, but unless you get 60% return, you can't legitimately, but again, we're not professionals. If it was me, we got 20% return and they say, we had no problem, I'm going to the legislature and say, see, there's no opposition.
There you go.
You could spin, it's not science, right? You could spin it whatever way we want, I guess.
I suggest we throw it out there and see what happens.
Well, we haven't used science so far in any legislation
There you
or
go.
rules we've promulgated, so I say let's stick with it. I agree with Ed.
I see Abigail's point, but I'm excited about finding out what we find out from it.
We could make a
It's
few
a lot of work. It
friends.
is a lot of work though, and I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the point, you know.
Yeah, that's just it. What's the return on our investment of all the hours we have to put in?
But wait, I'm still very confused about, we're trying to survey people and apparently they don't have email addresses we can trust or phone numbers or anything.
So the list that I got was from the CRC's website. The CRC doesn't provide contact information for people. Yeah.
It's not the emails, it's the trick of getting to the right person in your organization. You almost like need an inside champion, like if Todd was to take it on and kind of push it. You need an inside, like when I did my survey, I was my own champion. Everywhere I went, I talked about it. I passed out cards. Here's my QR code. And I did that for 3 months like a crazy man. That's why I had a number of 1,300 people, but I was my own guy doing it. So you almost need a champion like that who's going to be in there in the trenches and just push it.
The difficulty is that we can't just push it to anybody because we want to push it to
Right.
the people who can
Well, that's what I'm saying. You
have
to have
authorization.
right. You have to have an inside champion like Todd or someone who would push it enthusiastically. Maybe we could have a meeting with him. I know Todd very well.
Yeah. So Sarah, in tomorrow's meeting, if could you ask if Todd thinks that this is both a
I really I have a very small role in the NJCTA. I am going to bring this to the table and I'm going to put Todd in touch with you all so that.
Okay, yeah. Put him
Awesome.
in touch. Yeah, put him in
That's
touch.
what I was gonna say.
I don't want to be, I don't want to be the go-between. I'm going to bring it to the
No.
table to the group and he is the executive director.
Yeah.
It's going to be up to their decision-making functionality. So I will, again, share the survey, bring it to him tomorrow, and then.
Or,
put him in touch.
and Sarah, you don't even have to share whatever. Just talk to Todd and then put email Abigail and I and I'll talk to Todd.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Sarah.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. And I don't want you to put your neck out on this,
Yeah,
especially if
yeah,
it's a group full of ATCs.
No, I mean, like I said, the NJCTA has come out in support of medical home grow. So I think that it would be a positive conversation. I don't want to be the one spearheading getting everybody to fill it out. So
Right, it's
that's
a lot of work. Yeah.
I see the way that that's going to go to a degree. So I will pass it off to Todd.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll talk to him.
Yeah, and I was just scrolling around trying to find an email address for one of these, and Yuma Way on the list, and it's just not easy. I mean, you go to their website and they don't even tell you how to contact them. Anyway, so
There might be a way Todd has to getting it to all these different committees that they have in the meetings and just pushing it out. Let's see what he says.
okay,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you.
Item on the agenda.
Yes, moving along.
Oh, there's something, Ken, in your agenda, you linked to a website that was called, what was it called? It hasn't been updated for a number of years, for at least 2 years.
Our
The,
website, CMMNJ.
no, hold on, for the home grow.
Oh, at the home grow, at the, letpatientsgrowNJ.com.
Yeah, sorry, let patients grow NJ. So we have the other njhomegrow.com that's been updated with the 2024 Assembly and Senate bills
Oh,
information.
good. Oh, so, would you want to put a link to that in the chat, and we can, I'll make reference to that from now on. I know Joanne was keeping that one up, and Jim Miller, as far as I knew, the Let Patients Grow NJ, but anyway.
Yeah, that's still, it's still worth, get something posted on there. It's not like the website that's maintained to start receiving all sorts of critical acclaim. All it really needs to be, from what I needed to do on there, was to be able to post emails that somebody could easily get to. And that was actually pretty effective. But I'll certainly be in touch with Joanne and see what we need to do to make it a little more presentable, if at all anybody is going to be using that as a place to, post a communication that other people need to know about.
Right.
So.
Right. And all right, I'll advertise the New Jersey Home Grow website. Okay.
And that would be letpatientsgrownj.com. Right, is that right?
Right.
No, it's the
Let patients grow
njhomegrow.com.
Let patients grow NJ, yeah. Let patients grow NJ.com.
Okay, that's yours and Joanne's, but she's talking about the www.njhomegrow.com.
Oh, my bad.
that one's
All to the
been
same effect.
it's the same effort, it's the same gestalt, but it's updated with 2024's information and Normal's letter, as well as a couple letters that Kristen wrote.
So I'm real clear. What is that? I'm not, for some reason, I'm not hearing this very well.
It's in the link is in the chat, and it's just more. I don't think people we didn't know about the other.
No, but what is the website about? Let patients grow, not NJ.com, not Joanne's thing. What website are you talking about?
NJ Home Grow.
Okay, and what is that specific website? Pen in hand, I'm waiting.
NJ Home Grow.
Just njhomegrow.com?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm looking at it. It says information on emailing New Jersey Assembly and the Senate, and requesting a Senate hearing on S1393.
That's nice to know how to email everybody, but if there's no record of what people are getting and sending out, it's not as powerful as it could be. It's when there's a record, you can see what other people are getting in other districts, because it, in effect, can create an email trail that kind of tells the story all by itself with very little comment. That's what we try to do at the other at letpatientsgrownj.com. The whole purpose of that was, okay, much like Jeff King was back in the day, was on Vin Gopal's Facebook page before he signed on or had anything to do with cannabis issues. And he was engaging him on Facebook, trying to, and Vin Gopal said in front of everybody, instead of trolling me here on my Facebook page, why don't you hit me up legit at my office for an appointment? To which Jeff actually replied, because he showed me, Jim Miller said this might happen. That's why the last two emails that I sent that went unanswered are right now on letpatientsgrowNJ.com. To which Vin replied 5 minutes later, let's talk. You know, I mean, because it looked terrible to everybody else when he called him a troll, and he was already had taken his advice. And I'm very happy that he followed my advice to publish it and start an email trail. I don't know why people can't see how well this works. I really
Well,
don't.
Abby, do you keep a record of the emails that people send from that site? Is there a record? of it?
I don't know. I asked Kristen to try to keep a record, at least have like a BCC in there for and I don't think that she put the BCC in there. I wasn't aware, Jim, of the other website at all. Otherwise, we would have
But
like there's no reason to
that's-
purchase another domain.
The email trail, it's all on, because it is actually all on one spot. Anybody can real quick send you the emails that went back and forth without comment. It has
Yeah,
dates, they
yeah.
went unanswered or not, and that holds people accountable, which has never been done before.
Well,
I'm
it
just,
also
you
helps
know.
to keep a record of who's doing it. And when you send an email from Normal, for example, asking for the same thing, you get an email back from Normal, and it says, "Thank you for sending that letter. Now, would you like to, contribute to our organization, or would you like to help in other ways?" So anyway, it is good to keep a record of people who
You need
who
to,
use
because
it.
what Normal does is valuable, and I always, I also send them every time, and I'm always, and I think it's great. Because I asked legislators, when I had success with them, how do you consider things like sign-on letters? And the first time I asked, I was surprised to find out they find them very valuable, because it shows organizational ability, and that's something they watch out for.
Right.
But
Right.
also they watch out for somebody like what happened with Jeff King, where if they look and see the heartbreaking emails they've received and didn't answer, or blew off with a form letter, and then they didn't answer the next one, they don't know they're going up on a website first. You let them put the noose around their own neck a little bit, and then you tell them it's up, and things change.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you for that. Let's see. And minorities for medical marijuana, upcoming events. Looks like Michelle, are you still here? Or Jeff, you're going to be in New York?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Oh, okay. Hi.
I'm a state director too. Yeah, we'll be in New York at the CW Expo. I think they have a big booth there. Michelle's doing a panel. We don't have all the details yet. And I was actually asked to do a panel on psychedelics, so I'll be doing a panel on psychedelics there.
When is this?
June 4th, 5th, and 6th. Yeah. So we're gonna be doing interviews, podcasts, all kinds of stuff, but we have a couple of panels we're hosting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that's at the Javits Center in New York?
Yes, it's the big the CW Expo. And I think this is its 10th year. It's a big, it's a few thousand people show up.
Yeah. I haven't looked into it only because CMMNJ is more of a local New Jersey organization rather than a New York organization. Although we do go to different states for different things, but anyway.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest shows in the US, yeah, definitely. I mean, look it up. There's at $400 and $500 a ticket and $300 for this party. Now it's a big event.
Okay. All right, thanks for that. Trenton got its first weed store. So that was nice. Theory Wellness opened up on New York Avenue in Trenton, and mayor came, and the councilwoman and a couple of people of the Cannabis Advisory Committee in Trenton, myself included. So that was nice. And Ed Honeman had a very good letter to the editor, calling this show ignorance about medical marijuana, complaining that the two of the columnists in the was it feedback? Want to talk about that, Ed? What was that column? You're muted, Ed.
I'm trying to get unmuted. there are a couple of political commentators who deal with many issues of the day, and Tom, I think he's probably the Star Ledger editor, asks various questions. One of his questions was about the demonstration in downtown Trenton that patients had for growing marijuana. And both the columnists really belittled it. The one guy said, this is like making moonshine. And Julie Rosinski, who's a really wonderful Democratic liberal supporter, said, I don't really care about that. I just don't want them smoking around my kids. And really they did show complete. I was kind of horrified that the headline, they show ignorance, but they didn't understand anything about patient needs or home growing for patient needs at all. And I couldn't resist calling them out on it. And they, as you said, they published it. You pointed out to me, they published it in the lead online. So I hope it made an impact to tell people that that's what this is all about. It's not about like making moonshine at home or having people I don't care about, sick people being helped. And I hope it was worthwhile, but thanks for encouraging me.
And letters to the editor are some of the most widely read parts of various newspapers. So anyway, so thank you for that. That's very good work, Ed.
Here, here.
And there were editorials, medical marijuana patient to Scutari, let my people go, let my people grow. Anyway, the getting some very good editorial support for the issue of home cultivation. And of course, the demonstration on April 22nd was celebrating Earth Day and planting cannabis at the State House right in front of the annex. So I was kind of surprised nobody got arrested there.
Not only did nobody get arrested, but they were made to take the plants away. You take them away. It wasn't like we're taking them from you, it's you take them away, and okay. So it shows a certain normalization going on, and it also set a boundary, so to speak, to what you can and can't do at the State House. And I think I like the normalization effect of it. And Chris Goldstein made the point when they said, but look, you dug up the lawn and look at this. And he said, listen, I've been here when you've had 1,000 people out here in bad weather, and the entire thing looked worse than this. Oh yeah, okay, that's a good point. And all they did was make sure they had his information and Andrew's information, because obviously it's going to be, who was that? They can't say, I don't know, we didn't check their ID, we made them take it away. They did the minimum they could. So I look forward to these days, because it's not really loud and hooting and hollering. Sometimes people have a honk if you support home grow, and people honk, but other than that, I'm real happy with the normalization that's taken place. And since we already brought it up, though, I'm really looking forward to July 10th, because there's going to be, it could be up towards 20 state capitals, people after the state capitals with little time slots to get in on the podcast. And it's that I like that Lefty co-opted 710, that's oil upside down, oil day. In other words, no, that's not about everybody else. That's Patient Awareness Day, because patients actually should be using oil more than anybody. And that's what helps cure cancer. It's the oil, So anyway, I'm glad that he alerted everybody to that. And there's no reason to not go. It's not going to be planning. This is going to be a very legit and hard to do thing. It's going to take maybe 5 or 6 hours, and people getting in touch on times, the different time zones, and where we can hear what's going on in their state. And so we're going to be working pretty hard on that. And
it was very big. It was very successful. I was very impressed with last year's.
It's going to be better than that. Yeah.
And Ken, I'm happy to report we had an event at Rowan University Industry Night. We had, I think, probably close to 150 people. It was very successful. It was their first one. I hosted a panel there. So we're gonna do it again next year, I guess, and do some other stuff, but it went very well. I'm surprised, people, a lot of people didn't, from our group didn't go, cause we're down South Jersey. I know Mike, tried to go.
I ended up in the hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Made a wrong turn.
My body had other plans.
Oh,
Yeah.
and real quick, Mike, I'll be in touch with you about, the first. And I'll be able to get whatever it is that the coalition wants out at Morristown Day. I'll bring it back directly to your house, straight after, so you'll have it. I'll help you pack it up because you're gonna be leaving the next morning for Everett, work with it, right?
Oh, very good, Jim.
I mean, in other words, I'll bring it back to you, because we'll have whatever, that you want out there.
Yeah, sure.
And, but I'm gonna go directly, to your place afterwards, to get it to you, and if you want, we'll go right from my car to yours.
Excellent.
Yeah, okay.
Let me make a note of that.
And Mike, we'll talk. I'm looking forward to it.
Who do we have to help out on Pennington Day? 'Cause I'll have
Not me.
I'll have everything in my trunk still. Bringing it up to, well, we'll talk between now and then.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Might, but I'm not sure yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get it done.
Okay. All righty, good. Anything else? There was a question about whether there was a good article about, what was it, coca leaf? Anyway, so, that I sent around to the board, and, wondering if we should endorse coca leaf along with other plant medicine. So,
Plant.
at any rate,
Well, there's a lot of indigenous people that use it to survive and be able to work up in the higher elevations. We'll be able to do it without it.
And
Coca leaf.
Ken, I just threw in the chat, Philadelic, which is University of Pennsylvania. They're having their second event in October, I believe. We don't have all the dates. I'm on their board there, and we're working that out. But that's a great event if you're really interested in psychedelic and psychedelic research. They have like the top researchers in the world come and speak there. So we're working on that event.
October 3rd to the
Philadelic.
6th.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's Penn's School of Nursing's psychedelic conference they have every year.
Well, this is our second year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's every year.
Yeah.
Optimism.
Yeah, Penn does a lot of good work there.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, and Stockton University did their cannabis curriculum convening. I wasn't able to, I signed up for it, but I was just too busy to go to it. But I do intend to take the courses that they presented are online. It was 2 full days of courses, April 25th and 26th. And if you're interested, there is a link to it. You can review any of the particular presentations that took part during those 2 days of conferences at Stockton University. So, and Sure Grow's Vendor Day, we went to Sure Grow Hydro's Vendor Day. That was very nice. Nick Mellis and I were there. We had a table at Sure Grow, and they were very supportive. They took some of our T-shirts to sell. They were collecting some money for us for our hemp wristbands, and they're just generally just very supportive of our efforts at Sure Grow. So certainly they will benefit from our efforts to legalize home cultivation, but they've been supportive of our efforts for many years now. So, and again, we have still about 20,000 hemp wristbands. If anybody can think of how we can deal with them and maybe sell them wholesale in some way, it'd be a good.
Are they flammable?
Flammable.
Hey, we're having puff paint classes. Why don't we have some puff macrame?
Yeah. All right. Well, keep these ideas coming
together.
String them together. anyway.
I like the idea in the end here of combining two things, you know, we weren't able to have our 20th year celebration. And we have what I believe will be Schedule 3 coming up to the point where it'll be scheduled on this day. It'll be 60 days notice, I believe it is at this point, once they reach. It could be 2 months and 2 months. That's the earliest. I mean, I know we don't think it will, but what I'm saying is when it gets a date, it becomes effective on this date. I think it'd be time to schedule our 21st year anniversary party, our first celebration like that on that day, you know, on Schedule 3 day, because it's going to prove to be a game changer. And I'm just looking for a reason to have a party, you know. You missed one.
All right, well, hope you're not in a hurry for it. It's gonna be a while. There's a 60-day public comment period, and then they gotta deal with the comments and.
I'll pick an over under and I'll take bets up to $5 $20 bets with the money going to the coalition. I know Ed's gonna be in for 20 because you win either way. I mean, you win if you lose money. It's because I say it's gonna.
That's why I like to lose
I
these
say
bets.
it's gonna be quicker. I'm going out on a limb. I'm not gonna justify because I don't have to. I'll put up $20. That's justifying it. But I gotta pick an over under day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
date.
I don't think it's gonna happen for 8 months, quite frankly.
Oh,
appreciate-
I'll take 20 from you to the coalition. It doesn't matter. You know, you can put your own money in,
All right,
you know, put up or you know how it goes, right?
I appreciate the offer to pick up on the 21st anniversary celebration for the organization. I got too many doctor's appointments to be able to pick up that ball again. I know Hugh always offered that to us. If you still want to look at the Union Hall,
West Berlin.
someone else has better ideas.
Yeah, I would be more involved with that myself this time than I could have been last time.
That'd be great.
Hey,
okay,
if we could do that and lose a bet to the fundraiser, I mean, to the event itself. In other words, instead of going to the coalition, no, go directly to the party. Come on. Have we gotten that old that we don't know how to have a good party? Really?
I thought this was a good party.
One of the best I've been to recently.
all right. Well, it's just about over too. It's 9 o'clock. So I guess we've done as much of the agenda as we're gonna do this month. But a very good meeting. Anybody have anything that, you know, I mean, that we forgot or any last minute thoughts? Otherwise, thank you all for coming.
Good one.
Y'all.
Have a good night, all.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you Thursday, Scott.
All right, I'll see you on Thursday, Mike.
All right.
How do I turn this thing off?
Hey, Jim, you want to come on down Thursday? I'll make room